Shalom, my friends. We are live. Boy, look who's here already. We got, my friends. Oops, I gotta mute that. We are live. Where are we here? Look who's here already. We got. There you go. Got to mute that guy. And let's see who. Anna D from Florida looks like is the first one here. Deanie is here from the Netherlands. Hi, Deanie. Clavita. Yeah. Hey, Heather. I love you too. Nathan Shaw's here from Oklahoma City, and Patricia from Tucson, Arizona. Stephanie. Shalom. Able to catch this one tonight. That's cool. We're going to have some fun tonight, my friends. I don't know if you read the description. Arlene Morehouse is here from Omaha, Nebraska. I hope you can stay awake, Arlene. Hey, Alan R. Glad to see you here, buddy. And Patricia Randall. Boy, how many are here? Well, we got 64 and climbing. And I'm going to do a bit of a word study first, my friends. And you guys can chat, but you know, as I do the word study, you'll probably get some questions on your mind. Hold off on posting them because I won't be looking until I'm finished with my bit. But we are going to be looking at Devarim. That means words. It also means bees. That's Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verse 10. And we're going to look at divination. We're going to look at those who can be called enchanters. And we're going to look at witches. And we're going to look at those three English words. But I'm going to give you Abba Father's Kodesh language and the words that he used. Let me see. Whoa, look at all you people here. I'm assuming that, you know, my microphone's okay. Let me take a look over here. Where's my stuff? Give me that out. Oh, there we go up there. Yeah, mic, camera, everything looks okay there. But, well, we've got almost 70 people here. Before we go any further, let's stop chatting for a minute and let's bow our hearts and go before our beloved Elohim with prayer. Get his covering, my friends. Let's bow our hearts. Beloved Abba, Father Yahweh. Father, we come before you this evening to praise you and to thank you, Father, for everything, especially for our fellowship with you this evening and every time we come together, Father. Especially thanking you, Father, for surrounding this fellowship with your Gader HaKodesh, your hedge of protection, now and in the past, and in the future, and always, Abba, to keep those of us who love you together, to teach us, Father, to speak with one voice, your voice only, not our own, to teach us, Abba, how to go in the way, the narrow path, not in our own ways. Oh, Abba, thank you for your mighty anointing on our fellowship this evening, for delivering your message through me to Yeshua's lambs and giving me your answers to Yeshua's lambs' questions. As always, Abba, we come before you in the name of your beloved Yachid, your one and only heir, our Adon, Yeshua, that name, Father, being your name, the name that he esteemed, Yahweh, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh Echad. Gee whiz, I'm getting slammed already with the Ruach. I guess I asked for it. Anyway, my friends. Oh, geez. We're going to look at from Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 10. It reads, "There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire," meaning as a sacrifice by fire, usually to Baal. "There shall not be found among you anyone who uses divination," we're going to cover that word in the Father's language, "or who is an enchanter," we're going to cover that word in the Father's language, "or one who practices witchcraft," or who is a witch. We're going to cover that word. Now, first, we have divination. I got the right cards here. Yes. Divination is seen, well, the Father's word for that we see in English. By the way, my friends, I've had a revelation just past, I don't know, a few days, maybe a week or so. You know how I'm always complaining? I'm always complaining about these English interpretations of the Father's word, and you know, it drives me crazy. Like, how can they do this? The Ruach gave me a revelation. These interpreters of the Father's original language, they're not Kodesh. They're not Kodeshim. They're not followers of Yeshua. They're language experts, you know. And so they're given the job to take the Father's original Aramaic Hebrew and translate it into English. And, you know, here's the revelation I was given. They just look at the words and they interpret them into English. They don't know the word. They're looking at the written word. They don't know the living word at all. And so they'll interpret one of the Father's words into an English word that's really a stupid idea of interpretation for what the Father was saying when you look at what the Father was saying. But they do that because they don't look at what the Father was saying. They don't look at, they can't see the living word. They're not filled with the Ruach. And they're just in the flesh, so they do some silly things. I had to share that with you. I feel better now when I see crazy interpretations. I feel a lot better these days than I used to. So anyway, in Deuteronomy 18:10, the first thing we look at is this word for divination. We can see that in Strong's number H7081, and it's kesem. And it comes from the root H7080, which is kasam. And they're both spelled exactly the same. They're just pronounced a little bit differently. And there are some subtle differences in their meanings, but nothing to shout about. They basically mean the same thing. Kesem, it's spelled Kuf and Semech. I love Semech, that's the thorn. And Mem. Kuf, Semech, Mem. Kesem. actually kesem. And the word specifically refers to fortune telling and witchcraft. And it also talks about, you'll never see this in the English, but this is the Father's language, kesem, the Father's word, also talks about the results that such people achieve, fortune tellers and witches, for being an abomination to Elohim. Kesem points specifically to Gentiles and false prophets. We look at the otiot and we have kuf. That is a picture of the sun at the horizon. It points at a cycle, and it points at light, either growing or diminishing, and it points also at time. Now we have to remember we are looking at words that represent abominations to the Father. So when we look at the otiot under such circumstances, we look at the dark side of it. This is a cycle, and I told you, kesem has to do with the results that such people achieve for being an abomination. That's the cycle part. The end of the cycle, they will be judged. And in this case, kuf has to do with going away from the Father, away from the beginning, into darkness. And it speaks of time, and of course, divination, witchcraft. Often, they're trying to play with time, projecting dates, things like that. Any kind of date. Anybody who's searching for dates, to set dates, or to find dates, they're involved in divination, and they are being an abomination to the Father. You know, people who do the Bible codes too, this is also involved because they're looking for things to predict the future, and you can't do that. You can look at the past with the Bible codes and they find all of history, all the events in history, they're there in the Bible codes, but that does not mean that you can go into the future and start doing divination, fortune telling, playing around with things like numerology or the Father's numbers. This is all an abomination. But the second letter with kesem, and this is the heart of the word, is semech. Picture of a thorn. I love this one because it has to do with the Father's hedge of protection, you know, on the good side of things. And that thorn, when it attaches itself to anything, it doesn't let go. It represents a sharp and piercing shield. It grabs on, it holds, it has to do with infinity and limitlessness. However, in this case, this is the heart of the word, and we're talking about divination. These are wicked people going their own way, not the Father's way, trying to create their own hedges of protection, and just doing wicked things. Finally, we have mem. Mem. I always think of the word because it's a picture of water, and the word is water. The word washes us clean. It represents the blood of Yeshua. It represents questioning things. And it also has to do with chaos. Questioning things like the wonders of the sea. The sea is huge. Nobody knows anything. You know, 90% of what's in the seas nobody knows about. Represents chaos, like the storms of the sea. But again, we're looking at the otiot in negative terms. It's not the word that washes us clean. People that practice divination and witchcraft, they're washing themselves in filth. They are not covered by the blood of Yeshua. and they are full of chaos. So that's divination. That's the word. Kesem is the word for divination. Next, in Deuteronomy 18:10, it says, there shall not be found among you anyone who is an enchanter. And this is a very interesting one. It's the father. Well, you can see the father's original word here is anan, seen in Strong's number H6049. It's a primitive root, and in the otiot, it's spelled ayin, nun, nun. So the heart of the word is nun. But an enchanter, the word anan is talking about someone who is an observer of times. You know, my friends, there are many who watch this video tonight joining us, and later after we're done and it's just on YouTube, who should receive some pretty strong conviction about being an observer of times. Now, look, we are commanded by Yeshua to know the season, but not the day, not the hour, not the year. These observers of times, these are people who dig into the Bible codes, people who play around with things like astrology or numerology, trying to forecast and divine. These also falling into this enchanter category, the father's word being anan, are clairvoyants and psychics. You know, they're just full of enchantment. People go to a psychic, and the psychic will tell them, oh, a loved one recently passed away, and the psychic will tell them the loved one's favorite habits, hobbies. They'll say things that no one would ever know about this loved one except for those who are very close to this loved one. And so that most people use that to give validation to psychics and clairvoyants. And there's no validation going on. Demons are around all of us all the time. And there are select groups of demons that are around our families and our family members for generations. So a loved one passes away. The demons know your loved one's private and personal habits more than many who are close to your loved one. And so they bring it out and they're like, oh my God, they know, this is true. No, it's not true. You are being delivered an enchantment. You are being convinced of a lie by using the truth. But this is what enchantment is all about. There shall not be anyone found among you who is an enchanter, somebody who convinces other people of things that are not so in order to get some desire or personal gain achieved. Anan, spelled ayin. This is the picture of an eye. Has to do with spiritual sight and vision. Has to do with watching, being a watcher. Has to do with knowing things. And on the good side, this has to do with the word, Yahweh's word, Yeshua, and his living word in the word that we are studying, and his ruach, the word and the ruach converging in your soul. That's the positive sense. This is a negative. We're looking at anan, those who enchant and lie to achieve wickedness in the lives of others. This is spiritual sight and vision, but spiritual sight and vision into Satan's realm of darkness. Watching, yeah, knowing you and your family members and all their habits and all of that. And the word and the Father's Ruach never converging in their souls. The heart of the word is Nun, the seed of Yeshua on the positive side. But this, the heart of this word, is the seed of Satan. And it's unstoppable. And the final, there is also Nun again. But this Anan has to do with observers of times, forecasters, diviners, clairvoyants, psychics, mediums, people who practice spiritism, magic, sorcery, witchcraft, and those who act covertly. And here's one of my favorites with Anan. This word has to do with covering with clouds. And that's what an enchanter does. An enchanter deceives, lying to people with the truth. It covers the wickedness with white clouds and just deceives people. Finally, there shall not be found among you anyone who practices witchcraft. There shall not be any witches or warlocks among you. The word here in the Father's word can be seen in Strong's number H3784, and the word is kashaf. Kashaf. It's a primitive root word. It's spelled kaf, sheen. Some people say shin. The I is always pronounced like an E in the ancient. So this is sheen. And pei, picture of the mouth. Now, witches specifically is the English interpretation, but the Father's word is kashaf, and it has to do with whispering. I think that says a lot. Whispering and creating a spell. Demons do this with everyone all the time, whispering in people's ears, whispering lies. I've talked about this in many videos, but you know, everyone has demons around them trying to keep them away from Abba Father and Yeshua and his living word, trying to tear them down and trying to get them to kill themselves, whispering, "You're no good, you're no good, you're no good. You should kill yourself." People who go to suicide, they're wrapped around with kashaf. The demons are whispering and creating spells around them. We see in Exodus chapter 7, verse 11, Pharaoh calls his sorcerers, in the Father's word, Pharaoh calls his kashafim, his kashafs, we would say in English. But, you know, more than one is kashafim. And in Exodus again, chapter 22, verse 18, it talks about, I think most English interpretations there say witch, but that's a kashaf. We have kaf. It's a picture of an open palm, and it's supposed to have to do with bending and allowing and opening to allow the Ruach to teach us. It has to do with taming and subduing oneself, self-control. It has to do with the work of Yeshua and the filling of the Ruach. But here we're talking about wicked people. We're talking on the dark side of the otiot. These are people who will never bend. They will never allow anything but their own will. They'll never be open to any suggestions of that might be helpful. They are unable to tame and subdue or have any self-control of any kind. The work of Yeshua is something they hate. The filling of the Ruach, they hate. They only want to be in Satan's camp. The heart of this word is the oat sheen. Picture of two front teeth. Has to do with cutting, pressing. It has to do with a pair or the second one. And in this case, these people are operating with Hashatan. That's the second one. He is their master, and they're involved with cutting the lambs out of the flock and stealing them away. And finally, pay, picture of a mouth, has to do with speaking. It's supposed to have to do with praising. And in this case, it has to do with speaking lies and more deception. So there we have it. Deuteronomy 18:10, there shall not be found among you anyone who makes any of their children pass through the fire as a sacrifice to Baal. You think those things don't go on today? Don't kid yourself. They do go on. They're not so visible, but they are happening on the earth to this day. No one among you who uses divination. You know, my friends, again, I have to mention this because I've seen only recently people taking Strong's exhaustive concordance numbers and interpreting them as though they are anointed of the Father and they're the Father's numbers and language. They are only embracing divination. They are being blinded. They are being enchanted by the lies of demons, and they have no self-control. Stay away from people who are always trying to interpret things, esteeming themselves like with their own knowledge. Oh, look, I saw this in the word and I'm sharing it with you. I'm something special. Oh, and this confirms it because Strong's exhaustive concordance. Oh, look, the number is such. That's numerology. And that is divination. It's also enchanting or enchantments. And most of all, it's an abomination to Elohim. Stay away. And finally, there should not be anyone among you who practices witchcraft or who is a witch. Oh, well, I don't know any witches. Really? You can practice witchcraft without necessarily calling it such. You can try and work things. You can try and work the Father's word sometimes like it's magic. Or, you know, let's say, I've said recently, it might have been in the last live stream, somebody asked me to pray in Hebrew. I won't do that because, number one, nobody's going to understand what I'm saying. It only esteems me. Oh, look, you know, he can pray a Hebrew prayer and none of us knows what he's saying. I mean, who's that esteeming? No one. It would only esteem me. I'm not going to do that because people don't know what I'm saying, number one. Number two, the only way to do that is to have a memorized prayer. To me, and I said last time, I says, I will not do that. I don't like prayers that are memorized, you know, say 3 Hail Marys and 4 Our Fathers. That's witchcraft. The Catholic Church promotes witchcraft with all these memorized prayers. Oh, you got to have a medallion of St. Christopher. You know, he's going to protect you. Really, having the medallion protects you. This is witchcraft. So we want to stay away from these things. And I guess I don't know how much time we've spent. But now I think I've covered the word study and the otiot. We can turn to your questions. Let's see. Let's see if you guys have any questions. You can go ahead and post them now. I'm at the bottom of the comments, so I will see them. Camila, I don't like this topic, but I guess it's necessary evil. I've been looking them in the eye all week. Dementia. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Demons are disassociations, fragmentations of the mind, from Wizard Cat. No, Wizard Cat, demons are beings that hate you and want to kill you, and they live to kill you. Don't give them any titles of your own. Vanessa says, wow, this is deep. Yeah, Vanessa, I thought this is going to be a hairy one tonight because, we're talking about some pretty heavy words, divination and enchantments and witches, but that's all mentioned right there in Deuteronomy 18, one verse 10. So, here we go, Wizard Cat again. The fragmentations are the voices that speak to those who are affected. Wizard Cat, you talk like you know a lot about demons. Demons are not fragmentations, all right? They are living beings, eternally alive beings who want to kill people, and they do whisper. But you say they're the voices that speak to those who are affected. They're the voices that speak to everyone, including you. Whether you realize it or not, you've listened to demons and thought it was your own thoughts. Let's stop acting like you have instructions for others about what demons are using your own knowledge, Wizard Cat. I say that to you in love. Please understand. So, let the tares in this chat argue among themselves. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have caregiver here to knock the tares out of the room, my friends. I don't even know how to get somebody out of here. Some will say, look, it's bus number 33, and it was alive 33 years. It must be meant to be a sign. I don't know what you're talking about, Christine Race, but it looks like maybe you're getting into numerology there. I'm looking for a question, my friends. Alan, what do you say? Stacy Yeager says, Alan, what do you say to people who say that demonic activity in and through people who say this activity is just mental illness? Well, that's what they call it. People are in insane asylums because they're considered to be mentally ill, and they are. They're being possessed by demons half the time. They're not even in their own bodies. And then, so what do? They give them pharmakeia, Satan's form of sorcery and magic. They drug them, and all that does is open the doors wider for more demonic possession. So that's what I say about that stuff. I said it before. Gerard Long from the Netherlands. Bible codes is fun. Yeah, go ahead, man. Enjoy yourself, not growing in the Ruach or the Father's Word, playing around with Bible codes and getting pulled into rabbit holes of darkness. Okay. Here we go, Wizard Cat again. The term witch is defined as a bender of reality to claim and teach that demons exist as real entities is witchcraft. Well, Wizard Cat, if I could figure out, oh, maybe here it is. Here we go. Wizard Cat is gone. Wizard Cat, you're teaching your own doctrines. You've created your own God that's called, can't think of the word, but it's bad. You shouldn't be here, and now you're gone. Should we pray for Marina? If somebody needs prayer, yeah, you should pray. Hopeful servant. I went to a Christian retreat and a lady tried to read my palm to tell me my spiritual gift. I yanked my hand from her and she said, your spiritual gift is faith. Smart way to go, hopeful servant. Yeah, I've seen, they got these Christian people that have the gift of prophecy and they come to your church and they prophesy over people. Oh, I had one prophesying over me, one time. It's like, the Father's not done with you. You're going to be famous with your music. Yeah, shut up. You don't know nothing. These people are, they're full of darkness and they are enchanters. They get people, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, man, this is good. Thank you, Joy Sands, can the Father speak to you through numbers, Alan? Joy, the Father can speak to you in any way he wants, but I don't think he's going to use numbers. He's going to speak to you through his word. Grab a hold of this. Let him speak to you through his word. If you think he's speaking to you through numbers, you are really open for demonic deception. Dangerous places to go, man. I mean, I'm constantly talking about this. There's things that are very exciting to study, Bible codes, numbers and everything. And there's one book out there is written by a guy like 100 years ago, something, or I can't remember his name, but he tells all the Father's numbers. The guy's making up his own stuff. If it ain't in the Word, it's a lie. So where are we here? S&M Ranch, Canada. Stay away from the people who do tarot card readings or signature reading. That's witchcraft. Keep close to the Father's word. He is love. Yeshua is love. Just love. No. The Father is love, but he's also very destructive and he will kill people. Oh, he can't kill people. God is love. Don't fall into that stupid doctrine of demons that, God is love, like he's nothing else. And he wouldn't do anything nasty, like, have angels kill more than 100,000 bloodline people that were bloodlines of the Nephilim. Yeah, he had them murdered. That's the Father. And he's full of love enough to murder Satan's offspring. Please pray for my family, Penny Harris. There's a battle going on in my home and everybody else's home, Penny. I'm living with my family that hate him. Time to move out, sweetheart. Alice, Ravni, I think a lot of Christians practice witchcraft when they talk about things like tithing in order to... Yeah, you're right on, Alice. Let's see. Christine Race, I was saying a lot of the faith are using biblical chapters and things that happen normally in the world and using them as signs from the Ruach. People are doing a lot of stupid things. Hey, Hanu, how's it going? Question, Alan, by listening to Elohim, we're being protected by all these nonsense divinations. Yes, when you grow and be washed by the word, you shoot. Yeah, Hanu, right on, my brother. When you are being washed by and growing in the word, the darkness is washed off of you and you spot it quicker. You'll spot the lies of demons in a heartbeat when you are clean from his word. There's Wizard Cat, deleted. Wizard Cat is gone. Is numerology witchcraft? Not exactly. It's divination, Shari. But it's an abomination. Numerology is just like astrology. Look, Satan can't create anything. Astrology, the Father calls Matzerot. And he has 12 signs in the Shamayim. but it's all about his plan for salvation. And Satan took the Mazzaroth, turned it into astrology, and it's like, oh, what sign are you? And should you go to the dentist this Wednesday? Or no, Friday is more favorable according to, that's divination, and it's wicked. The same thing. Abba Father created all the numbers. There's really only 10 numbers, 0, 1 through 9. One by one, the numbers fall. 2 by 2, they affect us all. And 3 is a crowd before ordained at 5. Then 6 and 7 brings to mind 8, and then the number 9. The greatest of all these numbered friends of mine. Why? Because if you add them all together, they come to 9. So carefully, we turn the page, hoping there's a number on our next page. And as we turn, I can't help but wonder, will we be a memory that passes on numerically, like the rolling of the dice and the thunder? It's all in the numbers. I wrote that, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago. The Father has numbers. We can see them in his word. He uses them for specific reasons, and he makes specific statements with them. But that does not give us the license to start trying to be a diviner with them, or an enchanter with them, or a witch with them, interpreting them in our own ways as if we know something about them that no one else does. E.W. Beringer, is that the guy who wrote the book on numbers? Anyway, he don't know nothing. He thinks he does. But you want to read a book about numbers? Read the Father's word. There are numbers there, and if he wants you, they're easy to understand. And if they're not, then you leave it alone. Wait till we go home, and then you can ask. Should we stay away from Maria Elvira Posse? Should we stay away from people that are demonically possessed? What? I'm not going to even answer that one, sweetheart. What do you think, Maria? No, we should hang out with them and start a club, No, you should stay away from them. Have nothing to do with them. Pamela Thompson, my friend started to do yoga and she has completely changed. Yeah, in demonic ways. Yoga is just another way of worshiping darkness. War Baker, I watched Scott Clark's video. He mentioned the importance of the Jewish holidays. Is he referencing that the rapture should occur? Yeah, Scott thinks the rapture has to happen on Yom Teruah, the Feast of Trumpets. And that's pretty much what his ministry is all about. What's your view about ELS Bible codes? I already told you. You shouldn't be messing with people. People that take the Bible codes and try to predict things. Please. Mordecai wants me to do Exodus. I'd love to do Exodus, man, but the workload would be amazing, and I need to get my health up, to be honest with you. Maybe a little later. I got to go down because I'm starting to lose things on this screen. Grace to you. It's not good for a man to be alone. How about women? Woman is man, my friend. In the context of remarriage, I'm divorced. Ex is remarried. I have the opportunity to marry as well. Would it be disobedient to do so? You're not going to like me, Grace. A woman divorces her husband. She can marry again. She should not marry again unless her husband is dead. Otherwise, she's to remain single. But you can marry again and create more darkness, confusion, and misery than you ever saw before in your life. You have all the free will. You can do that if you want. Ever heard of the people who believe African Americans are the real Jews? Tyler Lewis. Yeah, Tyler. They're all over the place shouting like, only us, me, I, me, mine, mine. And I block them. They're crazy, man. God is black. That's what they're saying. Let's see. Mark. Are the HalleluYah Scriptures available online for cut and paste? No. They, I don't know. They covet their thing, man. They won't let anybody, they'll let you have the book for free, but they won't do an ebook. I don't know why. I talked to them about it. Whatever. Hi, Alan. What's meant by the word witnesses in Psalm 119? I don't know. I got to go to Psalm 119 and look it up. Hey, Patriska. Betty's here. I didn't see you before. Kendrick, good tune there, Alan. I think you should sing at times between these chats. I guess you wrote that before I sang my song about numbers, huh? Or maybe that's what you were talking about. Were the 12 Talmudim born covering each month of the zodiac? Oh, please, come on. That's a silly question. And the answer is no. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. They harvest melanin from us, those who have more melanin. What, the only ones who have melanin are like chosen by Yahweh? Go away, man. My brother is bipolar, but does claim to be a believer. Yet he hears voices. Well, maybe he's a bi-believer. If he hears voices, there's a problem. Gerard Long, there's a difference between Hebrew gematria and Greek Sophia versus satanic Luciferian numerology. Not much, Gerard. Hebrew gematria is divination. It's an abomination. It's everything that we talked about earlier. Stay away from gematria, my friends, if you don't want to fall into darkness. Resonation Nation. Can you explain the words that was changed in the Bible? That's all I do. Over 700 videos. Go back to the beginning, start watching. That's all I do. If I did it forever, I would never be done. Tonight is just another night in the garden, my friends. Can you put the words to the number song down in the links below? Nah. If I ever record it, I'll do that, but otherwise. The only number I recall being told to figure out is the 666, and that says let those with the wisdom to do it. That's right, Cheers Kitty. That's right. The Father commanded in his word, let those who are wise in the interpretation of numbers interpret the name of the jerk. It's a man's name. And I have a video on that. There's more to be said about it. Just type 666 in my search tool on my channel and check it out. Resonation Nation. Who created the word God and Lord? English speaking men who were influenced by Satan. Period. Alan, in one of your videos in the study of Genesis, you mentioned Yahweh's wife. I've never heard of Yahweh having a wife. Mordecai, Shahar. Mordecai, you've never read the Father's word. He has a wife. He talks about her all the time. If you don't know who she is, I ain't saying nothing. All right. Israel, read his word. She drives him crazy. As it should be, I guess. Please, Kendrick, please read Genesis 5:2, and you see Yahweh called both male and female, called them both man. Really, the word there, Kendrick, should be mankind. He created Adam. Adam means man or mankind. Male and female, he created them, all of mankind. The Father sees the end, even from the beginning. He reveals the end out of the beginning. And when it says, Adam was male and female, he's talking about mankind would be male and female. Try and think outside of the box. Try not to limit Elohim to your understanding. Don't do that. Forgive me for yelling. Alan says, I think some of the people that start trouble in the chat could be potentially demon possessed to disrupt and divide and distract. No question about it, Alan. If they're not possessed, they're certainly holding hands with and making friends with demons. Eventually, they will be possessed if they don't stop doing that. Vanessa, put the Black Hebrew Israelite camps in the same category as Mormons and JWs, cults, and covered in darkness. Right on, as always, Vanessa. Girl, you have wisdom. I've never seen you make a mistake. Hey, Alan, what can I do to overcome lust? Get raptured. Like, you can't be perfect. 1 John 1:9. Read it. Get in the word. If you're washed by the word every day, you're not going to be, your lust is going to diminish and diminish and diminish and diminish. I can't believe how diminished my own has become. S&M Ranch. I know Abba can kill and discipline his kids. I meant that all answers come from Abba and his word, not tarot card reading and such demonic practices. He blessed me and my husband by finding your page. Hey, amen, sweetheart. And if I misunderstood you before and said anything abrasive, I apologize. I know that I'm very easily abrasive, firm. I like it because it gets people's attention. But thank you for clarifying that it's true. All answers come from Abba. All good things are from the Father, period. That's it. If it's good, it's from him. What do you know of Jesuits, Zionists, Freemasonic, Hermetic pantheism? I don't know nothing, Iona. I read the word. I don't waste time on Satan's games that pull people into darkness. I don't want to know. The Jesuits are a bunch of jerks. I had dinner with one night. The guy was freaky. What's Dax Axe? What's Gematria lead to? Freemasonry. I don't know about that, but it will lead you into darkness and away from the Father. That's all you need to know. EA Electronic Arts. Why does God hate African Americans? Come on, man. Get out of here. You say anything else like that and you'll be blocked. He doesn't hate He only hates wicked people. People who do their own thing and not his. That's what he hates. He doesn't hate African. And what are you, crazy? Don't get me pissed. Ooh, Alan said pissed. Genesis, Bereshith, can be calculated from the Hebrew Tanakh, from the first 7 words of the book. Whatever, man. What are you talking about? You know, if you're talking about calculating things, you're getting into divination. I don't know what you're talking about, but don't bring it here. What should I do if I married a woman who's divorced? Is her husband not dead? Well, you know, you made a mistake. Talk to the Father about it, and he'll tell you what to do. New York style pizza or Chicago deep dish? Hands down, Dan, it's New York style. You can't get pizza unless you're in Brooklyn, period. End of story. The born again church or his wife? No. No. The born again church, Yahweh has a wife, Yeshua has a bride. The two are not the same. And Yeshua doesn't have a wife yet. And born again believers, all of them are not necessarily the bride. Some of those are, not all of them. Blanket statements are dangerous, my friends. Hey, Alan, I'm in Jersey too. Was wondering if you recommend any churches? None. If not, how do you worship on the weekends? Right here, my friend. My worship is with you on the web. I mean, I know there's churches out there that are pretty cool, but they won't be for long. I've seen some that they weren't for long. Why? Because they become 501c3 corporations. They start worshiping the world. Can't have two masters. They try and turn it into a business. Boom. Satan says, thank you. That's all I needed was for you to do that one stupid thing. Now I own you. And, you know, give me 3 years. Your church is going down. Iona, I'm not familiar with anything other than the Father's word. Please stop asking stuff like that. Oh, brother. Rebels prophet. Yitzchak, 41 years old, married a 14-year-old girl named Rivka, is marrying a young girl today by a man that age, as well accepted in the eyes of Yahweh, depends on the man's heart. Things are not what they used to be, my friend. Why do you ask these questions? I mean, where do they get anybody? Vanessa, I'm laughing out loud, literally, about Alan's answer regarding lust. How do I get rid of my lust? Be perfect. How do I be perfect? You cannot. It'll happen by the Father's hand. But it ain't happening in this time. I think if people are in the Word as they should be, all these questions wouldn't be raised. Kendrick, right on. Jovan, I had an idea of making Aleph-Bet stencil and mass production and selling it maybe on Zazzle. Like the idea? I hate the idea. The Father's word is not for sale. And don't go accusing me because I have a Zazzle store. I'm not making money off of that. Believe you me, it has nothing to do with making money. I'm just putting it out there. Somebody buys a necklace. I think I make 10 cents. I don't even, you know, it's not enough to even consider. But somebody has a necklace with the otiot and they can witness with that. But you're talking about, you know, mass production, and you're talking about making money. Bad heart there. Jovan. Tiffany Detzel. Hey, Tiff. Alan, he put that shepherd stick on your hand because you know how to use it. Ryan and I are loving this. You're cracking us up. This is truth. Look, you know, my friends, I'm very opinionated. But my opinions are in line with Yahweh's word. And that's why I'm bold about my opinions. I am not arrogant. I am confident. And if people don't like what I say, guess what? I don't care. Why? Because I have zero interest in impressing anyone but Elohim. And that's why I'm always on the cool side of it all, because I'm always thinking about him and what he thinks about what I'm doing. I don't care what you think about what I'm doing. I couldn't care, possibly, I couldn't care less. Because if you don't like what I'm doing, you must not like the Father's word. And if you do like what I'm doing, hallelujah, then you're embracing the true names and you're embracing the Father and his Son, who's Yahweh's wife. Israel is Yahweh's wife. Hi, Alan. Why do you wear a pinky ring? Yeah, Christine, I'm glad you asked. Because I always have this ring on. You've seen me maybe wearing other jewelry that comes and goes, but this will never go. And this pinky ring will never go. This is a high quality ruby stone set in a beautiful gold thingy. The ring is probably almost 100 years old. It came from my mother's brother, my uncle, who he read his Bible all the time. And he and I were very close. And when I was 12 years old, it was the first time I saw this pinky ring on my uncle's pinky. And he came up to Jersey from Florida. He was a woman's gown designer, and he was very well known in Miami and New York City. He made suits for Jackie Gleason and for Joe E. Lewis, the boxer, but he was mostly known for women's gowns, wedding gowns, and things like that. He had this on his pinky. I saw it when I was 12 years old, and I lusted. I lusted over it. I said, boy, maybe when he dies, he'll give it to me. Something like that. He passed away, and one of my cousins got this ring, and he just mentioned it one day. I think it was a few years after my uncle had passed away, and he mentioned the ring in negative ways. He said, hey, it's all scratched up. My cousin Kenny, he's in my book, Road to Paradise. He's very materialistic. It's kind of disgusting. I says, you have Uncle Sam's ring? He's like, yeah, you want it? It's a piece of garbage. Garbage? He says, yeah, it's all scratched up. You know, this stone could be buffed. He says, you ought to take it, get it by. It's buffed. I wouldn't touch it. My beloved uncle made every one of those scratches. I've worn this ever since. It's in, a lot of pictures of me that are in the newspapers and whatnot from the old days. You'll usually see this ring. So thanks for asking, Christine. Chris H. Hi, Alan. I'm an Assyrian. We speak Syriac, I believe close to Aramaic. How close is this language to what Yeshua actually spoke? It's practically the same. Syrian, Syriac, Aramaic, pretty much one language. Hebrew, I believe, is more modern than Aramaic. But if you really get down to it, there's not enough differences to argue about it. Brett Potter. Alan's not trying to make money. He's real, and there's no question about that. Thanks, Brett. There really is no question about it. I mean, everything. I have 2 books. They're free. I just put up, I don't know, 13 songs from 50 years ago. Free MP3 files. I did a music CD called Matan. It's free to anybody who asks. And, you know, that costs money. But look, my friends support me. They financially, I've been supported ever since I come home from the hospital. I'm like Yahweh threw a switch. As long as that's going on, if I have anything to offer, I'm not going to sell it. You guys have already paid for anything I can give. Alan says, pitch your tent with Elohim and let Yahweh be your headship. Your lust will be gone. Sorry, Alan. That's not true. What you're describing there is works, and it don't work. I love it. I'm glad it doesn't work. Because, you know, we need to see that the only thing that works is his efforts. Ta, 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 ta. Oh, here we go. Resonation Nation. Yahweh and Yahweh is a false, fake deception. Where am I here? Goodbye. Goodbye, Resonation Nation. You make statements like that. I thank you. I thank you for making that disgusting statement that you just made, so I can see your demonic nature and get you out and away from Yeshua's flock. Anybody else laughing real hard right now? I am. Jonah, I should have known that Israel is Yahweh's wife. I think I was actually told that when I was a little kid. Yeah, and any other time you read his word, nobody does. Brett Potter's going to bed. Good night, Brett. We love you. You should not use your adult voice to talk to a baby unless that baby is a biter. I don't know what you're saying, Gorgon. Anyway. Alan R says to me, Alan, since I'm new here, the last live streams didn't say stealth. Just curious what it means, if anything. Alan, I keep a really weird schedule. For example, I got up today around 6 p.m. I went to bed like this morning around 6 a.m. I'll be up all night. I'll be going to bed tomorrow morning, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And I get up an hour later and I go to bed an hour later on average every day. So, you know, if you go ahead 10 days, like right now, I'm sleeping all day long. So I usually do the live streams at 7 p.m. Couldn't do it this week because I didn't get up until 6 p.m. and I need to wake up first. So I do the stealth thing. I'll go on at 3 o'clock in the morning or midnight. Next week, I'll probably be back on at 7 p.m. It's just my schedule. So if I'm on in the middle of the night, I don't have caregivers. She's sleeping. So I kind of put a moonlight look on the thumbnail. And I hope I answered your question. S&M Ranch, love you, Alan, but it's showing you've been an hour not wanting to replace caregiver. Ha ha, and don't want you to stop, but I know you watch your time. Thank you, my friends. That's what caregiver usually does. She goes, we're going on an hour. And that's cool. Let's see if we have any more. Oh, S&M Ranch, dying to see the truck. Yeah, me too. Coming up pretty soon. I mean, you're going to love. I have a lot to show. This guy did thousands of dollars worth of work. Let's see if there's any more questions. Christine, when do you think the rapture is going to happen? I know exactly when it's going to happen, Christine. It's going to happen then. When? Then. Then is when. When? Then. When it happens, then you'll know the date. When is then? Then is when. That's the only truth about when. Maria loves my music. Thank you, Maria. Gerard Long, you need to watch my study on Romans and Ephesians, Gerard. We are not saved by grace through faith. What? Oh my God, that's what my Bible says. No, we are saved through chana by Aman. Go check out my video and learn the truth. We are saved by pitching tents with Elohim and him pitching tents with us. And that comes to us through us being washed by and growing in his word. Grace and faith are abstract terms that no one can define. So Satan keeps people not knowing how we're saved. Please watch my videos on Ephesians and Romans and Hebrews, so long as you're at it. And that not of yourselves, it's a gift of Elohim. Amen. Okay, my friends. Kiara says, Alan, you're so sweet, but you're strong too. A great elder. All praises to Abba Yahweh. Yeah, I'm kind of like Elohim. I have his Ruach in me. I can be gentle and loving. I can also be destructive. When I see any demonic stuff, I see any wolves around my sheep, I will kill that wolf with a stick. Okay. Let's call it a night, my friends. Let's praise Abba. I love doing this so much. Thank you all for being here. Let's bow our hearts and thank Elohim for everything he's done with us tonight. Beloved Abba, Father, we praise you and we thank you, Father, for our fellowship with you this day. Thank you so much, Father, for opening our eyes, our ears, and our hearts, causing us by your mighty power to see, hear, and understand everything that you would have us individually to see, hear, and understand. You being the author and the finisher of our faith, not us, not anyone else. You are the author. You are the finisher, and we thank you for conducting that work in each and every one of us. Oh, Abba, we thank you for the seeds you have planted in us this day. Thank you for watering them and causing them to grow, to esteem you, to bring out fruit that bears that same seed and plants it in other fields. As we give this day, Abba, to you, Yeshua, and Ruach HaKodesh, praying in Yeshua's Kodesh name, Yahweh, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh Echad. Oh, by the way, my friends, oh, and all the Kodeshim said, Amen. This Saturday, of course, tomorrow I'll be shooting my sit down in the Word. Should be walking in the Word. And if I wasn't sleeping all day, tomorrow I would be doing a walk in the Word because it's going to be sunny and 80 degrees. So I would be able to go out. But I'll be sleeping all day. I won't be getting up until around 7 o'clock at night, and then it'll be too dark. So this Saturday, you'll see me sitting in the kitchen again. But that, Abba willing, may be the last sit down in the Word that we see. Thank you, Chavarim, for all these beautiful amens. I love each and every one of you. And you know, the old shtick, until next time, keep your wicks trimmed and keep your lamps burning bright. Shalom, Chavarim.